Hello everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Today, we're diving into a topic that has generated a lot of discussion and concern online, the relationship between Russia and Estonia. You might have seen some alarming headlines or social media posts, and we want to take a calm, factual look at what's really happening. Let's separate the facts from the fiction and understand the historical context that shapes the dynamic between these two neighboring countries. First, let's be crystal clear. Estonia is a sovereign, independent nation. It's a member of the European Union and, crucially, a member of NATO. This membership is incredibly important. Under Article 5 of the NATO Treaty, an attack on one member is considered an attack on all members. This collective defense agreement is the cornerstone of the alliance and provides a significant security guarantee for countries like Estonia. So, any direct military action against Estonia would trigger a response from the entire NATO alliance, a group of 32 nations. This is a fundamental point to remember as we explore the complexities of their relationship. So, where do these tensions come from? To understand that, we need to look back at history. For much of the 20th century, Estonia, along with Latvia and Lithuania, was part of the Soviet Union. This period, which began during World War II, is a very painful chapter in Estonian history. They lost their independence and were subjected to Soviet rule for decades. Finally, in 1991, with the collapse of the Soviet Union, Estonia courageously restored its independence. This was a monumental moment, celebrated as a return to freedom and sovereignty. The Estonian people have worked incredibly hard over the past 3 decades to build a prosperous, democratic, and free society. However, the legacy of that history continues to influence the present. Russia, as the successor state to the Soviet Union, has a different perspective on this history. From Moscow's viewpoint, the expansion of NATO eastward to include former Soviet republics like Estonia is seen as a direct challenge to its security interests. Russian officials have often expressed disapproval of NATO's presence so close to their borders. This has led to a consistent pattern of political rhetoric and actions intended to assert Russia's influence in the region. This rhetoric can sometimes be very strong. We've heard statements from Russian politicians and commentators that question Estonia's sovereignty or make claims based on historical arguments. These statements often get amplified on social media and can create a lot of anxiety. It's important to understand that this is often part of a broader information strategy. The goal is frequently to create division within NATO, to test the alliance's resolve, and to intimidate neighboring countries. These are political maneuvers, not necessarily declarations of imminent action. Diplomatic language can be complex, and official government policy is what truly matters. Another point of contention is the border treaty between the two countries. After the Soviet collapse, there were disagreements over the exact demarcation of the border. While a treaty was signed by both governments years ago, it has not been fully ratified by both parliaments, leaving the issue technically unresolved. This unresolved status is sometimes used by politicians to stir up nationalist sentiment. However, on a day-to-day basis, the border is managed and respected. It's a political friction point, but it doesn't mean the borders are about to be redrawn by force. It's also essential to consider the people on the ground. Estonia has a significant Russian-speaking minority, a legacy of the Soviet era. For years, there have been debates within Estonia about integration, language, and citizenship. Russia has often positioned itself as the protector of these Russian speakers, sometimes using their status as a pretext for political pressure. This is a complex internal issue for Estonia, and it's one that requires careful and respectful dialogue. The vast majority of people, regardless of the language they speak at home, simply want to live in peace and security. In response to the shifting security landscape in Europe, especially in recent years, Estonia has taken its national defense very seriously. It has a well-trained military, invests significantly in defense spending relative to its economy, and actively participates in NATO exercises. The alliance has also bolstered its presence in the Baltic states, including Estonia, through the enhanced forward presence battle groups. These are multinational NATO forces stationed in the region on a rotational basis, sending a clear signal of solidarity and readiness. This is a defensive posture, designed to deter aggression and ensure stability. So, what can we take away from all this? It's true that the relationship between Russia and Estonia is tense and complicated, rooted in a difficult history. It's also true that we hear concerning rhetoric from time to time. However, it is crucial to look at the full picture. Estonia is a proud, independent nation, deeply integrated into Western structures like the EU and NATO. The NATO security guarantee is robust. While political pressure and hybrid tactics like disinformation are real challenges, the international legal framework and military alliances in place are designed to prevent direct conflict. It's easy to get caught up in fear and speculation, especially online. That's why it's so important to rely on credible sources, understand the historical context, and distinguish between political posturing and actual policy. The situation is serious, and the people of Estonia live with this reality every day, but they are also resilient and well prepared. The international community overwhelmingly supports Estonia's sovereignty and independence. Thank you for joining me for this important discussion. If you found this explanation helpful, please give the video a like and consider subscribing for more deep dives into complex global topics. Stay informed, stay curious, and I'll see you in the next video.